Today we're going to be taking a look at something that I know a lot of people are interested in, and that is the fear of public speaking.
Yes.
And we had some source material this time from an excerpt that's all about actionable advice for public speakers.
Oh, very cool.
So if you've ever felt that like heart racing before a presentation, or
Oh, yeah.
the sweaty palms, we're going to break down why that happens and maybe give you some tips on how to kind of get over that.
Well, and it's interesting because this fear of public speaking, it's a very, very common fear.
Oh yeah,
Like most people have it.
it's the stuff of nightmares for many.
It really is, and it makes sense from a biological standpoint. Our brains, even today, kind of see public speaking as a potential threat.
Oh wow.
Back in the day, if we were out, hunting and gathering, and we suddenly found ourselves in front of a group of people, that probably meant something bad was about to happen.
Like a saber-toothed tiger is about to jump out.
Exactly. So it triggers that fight or flight response.
Oh.
Your heart rate goes up, you start sweating.
I see.
All those things that are meant to help us survive a dangerous situation.
But knowing that my brain thinks I'm about to be attacked by a tiger doesn't make it any less scary.
Right, and that's why this source really emphasizes preparation. It's not just about knowing your material inside and out,
Okay.
although that's definitely important. It's about almost treating it like an athletic event.
Okay.
You wouldn't just show up to a marathon without training.
That's true.
Same goes for public speaking. So this guide suggests practicing in front of a mirror,
Oh yeah.
recording yourself. You'd be surprised how many little verbal tics or distracting movements.
I hate watching myself on video.
I know it's tough, but it's really helpful. You can catch those things that you might not even realize you're doing.
Is there any other way to practice if I don't want to subject myself to that?
Well, this guide suggests something a little less intimidating.
Okay.
Practice on your pet. Your dog, your cat.
Okay.
They're a captive audience.
That's true. They're not going to judge.
Exactly. It gets you used to talking out loud without the pressure of judgment.
That's actually a really good idea. Now, what about the content itself? Like, how do we structure what we're going to say?
Well, the source talks a lot about the importance of bullet points.
Bullet points.
Over memorization.
Yes, they're a big proponent of bullet points over trying to memorize an entire speech word for word. And there are a few reasons for that.
Okay.
First, it keeps you from sounding robotic.
Oh, yeah.
You don't want to sound like you're just reading from a script. Second, it allows you to be more flexible. If the audience is reacting in a way that you didn't expect, you can adjust on the fly. And thirdly, it helps with nerves because you don't have to worry about forgetting a specific word or phrase.
So it's almost like a safety net.
Exactly. And they have another pro tip. If possible, do a practice run in the actual venue where you'll be speaking.
In the actual venue. Yeah, get familiar with the space, the lighting, the acoustics. It can really help reduce some of the anxiety of being in an unfamiliar environment.
So we're prepped, we're familiar with the space, but what if mid-presentation my mind just goes blank?
Oh, that happens more often than you think.
Really?
It's that fight or flight response kicking in. The good news is this source has a great tip for that.
Okay.
Don't panic.
Okay.
Take a deep breath, sip some water, and refer back to your bullet points.
Okay.
The pause will feel much longer to you than it does to the audience.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's reassuring. But even with all that preparation, I think there's still that mental hurdle of fear.
Absolutely, and that's where mindset comes in.
Mindset.
This source talks about shifting your focus from inward to outward.
What do you mean?
Instead of worrying about how you're feeling,
Oh.
how nervous you are, how you look, think about how your information can help the audience.
Oh,
What value are you providing to them?
I see.
Reframe the presentation as a way to give something rather than a test of your performance.
Okay, so it's more about them than me?
Exactly. And this guide even suggests a simple language tweak.
Okay.
Instead of thinking, I'm scared, try saying to yourself, I'm excited.
I'm excited.
It sounds a bit cheesy, I know, but studies have shown that even faking enthusiasm
Wow.
can actually make you feel more confident.
That's so interesting how, just our words can affect how we feel.
It's amazing, right? Our brains are powerful things.
So much of this seems to be about perception.
Oh, absolutely. And speaking of perception, this guide tells a great story about a woman named Sarah,
Sarah?
who absolutely bombed her first big presentation.
Oh, no.
It was a disaster. She forgot her lines. She stumbled over her words. The whole thing was a nightmare. But years later, she turned that experience into a hilarious TEDx talk about failure.
So she took that negative and turned it into a positive.
Exactly. She embraced the fact that she had messed up. And it made her talk even more relatable and engaging.
So it's okay to mess up.
It's more than, okay, it's inevitable. Everyone makes mistakes. What matters is how you recover. And this source also references the work of Dr. Amy Cuddy,
Dr. Amy Cuddy.
who's a social psychologist. And she found that power posing,
Power posing.
which is basically standing in a confident posture, can actually change your body chemistry.
Wow.
It reduces cortisol, which is the stress hormone,
Oh.
and it boosts testosterone, which is the confidence hormone.
So even our body language can affect how we feel.
Absolutely, our bodies and our minds are constantly influencing each other.
That's amazing. I'm learning so much today. If you had to leave our listener with one question to ponder, based on all of this, what would it be?
I think the most important question is this.
Okay.
What is your biggest public speaking fear? And how can you use even one of these strategies to start tackling it? It doesn't have to be perfect, just a small step in the right direction.
That's great advice. And remember, every great speaker started somewhere. You got this.